All right, can y'all hear me now? Y'all can hear me now? Let me know. Am I good now? All right, bad. My bad, man. So, again, welcome to the BKE podcast. I'm your host, CJ. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hope everybody enjoyed the holiday. I appreciate y'all for letting me know that. I forgot to turn the dial up, so that was my bad. That was my bad. Um, I got a new um I got a new amplifier, so I'm still learning the how this works versus my old one. But the show must go on, right? So I'm here with y'all. So again, like I said, I hope everybody enjoyed their holiday, ate some good food, spent time with family. I know I did. I had a good time with my family. I went over to my brother's house. Um, shared some good memories, watched some football. So I'm here. And now I'm here with y'all. So I hope you guys, definitely enjoyed y'all holiday. Um, how was y'all holiday though? Like, what was it? How did everything go? What did y'all do? Let me know. Appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, hey. So, like my favorite thing, you know what? I didn't really have turkey. Like when I went to my brother's house, I had like a little bit of turkey, but I had like baked chicken and some fried chicken. So like I didn't really have turkey. I don't even have turkey leftovers, and that's a first for me, right? So I don't have any turkey. I have stuffing. I have mac and cheese. I have chicken in there. I have collard greens, but I don't have no leftover turkey. And I was like, you know what? I'm good on it. My mom was like, oh, I can make a turkey. It was like, no, 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 no. You don't need to do that. You don't need to make a turkey. The turkey is, I'm not asking to have turkey after Thanksgiving. No, no, it's okay. You don't have to make the turkey. Okay? You don't have to make the turkey. So, but I did make some banana pudding. And it turned out well. I made like a traditional style, and I made like a red velvet Biscoff cookie banana pudding, and it was fire. It was fire. And I ate it to my own horn at times, but I really did that, And I got a lot of good feedback for the people who has tried it. So, yeah, man, I was like, yeah, CJ did something right. I did that thing. So, but yeah, like, what was your favorite like part of the feast, right? Like, was it the turkey? Was it the my mac and cheese, folks? Sweet potato, folks. You know what? I didn't have sweet potato pie this year. I didn't. I didn't have sweet potato pie for Thanksgiving. Um, so there's some things that was a little different than what I was used to on Thanksgiving. So like I said, I didn't have sweet potato. I didn't have I didn't have really turkey like that. Just had like a little bit. But yeah. Favorite part of the feast is always mac and cheese. The mac has to be macking. I ain't lying, man. The mac has to be lacking. Full show. The mac ain't macking, then it's a problem. And I like my mac and cheese baked. Don't just put it in the pot and put it in a dish and try to serve it. I'm judging you. Absolutely, I'm judging you. Absolutely. Has to be thick. At least 4 to 5 cheeses. 4 to 5 cheeses at minimum is the requirement of a good mac and cheese. I'm serious, so serious. But we got some good stuff today. Like I know last week, we talked a lot about, mental health awareness. You can also catch that on all the major streaming platforms: Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Podcasts. Uh, uh, what's another? What's another? All the major streaming platforms. You can definitely find it. iHeartRadio. You can go back on YouTube. You can go on the Twitter page as well. You can go on Facebook and pull it up. We talk a lot about mental health awareness and talk about the African American male in a relationship setting as far as um, what's being worthy of love. It was a good episode. It was a good episode for us coming back on air, and we really did enjoy the conversation as well. So, but today we're going to switch it up a little bit, right? We're going to talk about it's not even talk about it's acknowledging the success that we've seen with the African American community as far as the celebrities and things like that, um, and just being thankful for our Black successful community. So um, let's pretty much dive deep into it real quick, right? Shout out to my guy Michael Jai White for being the first non-Asian recipient of the Bruce Lee Award. That's low key. Well, I ain't gonna say low key. That's high key. That's very very prestigious as far as like an award, because no other person outside of like the Asian community has won this award, and Michael Jai White is the first to be able to do it. So kudos and congrats to my guy. Like I'm a big Michael Jai White fan. I think he's definitely one of the like true like martial artists, actors outside of like the usuals, the standards like Jackie Chan and Jet Li and Donnie Yen and those guys. But he's like the true like martial artist, black actor out there. And he even did it, outside of like Jim Kelly and those guys. Um, Michael Jai White has been in over like 70 films, including Spawn, Black Dynamite. Uh, he even played Mike Tyson on it's on HBO. But he he's definitely known for his expansion in his roles as far as acting. Um, so definitely congratulations to Michael Jai White. So it's an honor, man. It's an honor to be able to see him like achieve that, because you don't really see things like that. Like I said, like that award alone has been won by the martial artist communities that are of the Asian ethnicity. But now he's the first non-Asian recipient to win this award. So that's monumental. Um, it's being handed out to um, since 2015 with actors such as James Wong and George Takei, and the Bruce Lee Award has been presented by the Bruce Lee Foundation. So that was started by Bruce Lee's daughter. So absolutely, and that's what I was saying. Like Michael Jai White has always been that guy. Extremely talented. Like when you can ask yourself, can this person play that role? And when you see Michael Jai White, and he's like, oh yeah, sure. I'm pretty sure he can play that role, and he has. Like he's been in funny movies. He's been in action, a lot of action, a lot of martial art movies, shoot 'em ups. parodies, things like that. And sometimes you might see him in movies that's kind of like not really that good in a sense. I've seen a few Tubi movies that he was in, and I was like, it was alright. It was alright. But Michael Jai White was in it, so it is what it is. But he always kept busy in cinema. Like he never like just like not worked. I've always known Michael Jai White to be working, in cinema. So this was actually great to see. Um, appreciate my man Los. Appreciate you for reposting the stream on X. So yeah, man. Again, big ups to Michael Jai White, man. Like that was good. Um He's also now currently in the new season of The Family Business, which is airing on BET Plus at this moment, and on Paramount as well. For the people who probably ain't got BET Plus, um, I don't know if the new season is on Paramount, but you're able to watch The Family Business on Paramount as we speak right now. But it's on BET Plus. All right. Um, But congratulations, Michael Jai White. Um, that is, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the Family Business. So I might tune into it. I might tune into it. Seeing that Michael Jai White is in it, that means I got to go back to season one. So I'm gonna try to tune into it. And all that good stuff. Um, so moving on to another great thing to be able to see in social media that doesn't involve like the killings and things like that. Um, trending Keith Lee, the well-known social media food critic, um, that does a lot as far as like the food industry and try to really boost up the views and the word of mouth when it comes to local businesses, local food businesses, and things like that around the nation. And he's done a very good job. Like I remember when he first started going to different cities and just like posting content, on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram and things like that. And it turned to like this real, it turned to more than just like him posting on social media and things like that. He really did help a lot of businesses, like food businesses, to be able to grow because of him being able to go there, taste the food, do the review, and all that. He's a tough critic too. He's a tough critic. He's definitely a tough critic. When it comes to food, he won't hold back. He won't hold back. He won't like bash the establishment, but he'll let you know if the food is bad, the ambiance and all that stuff once he walks in and things like that. But on another note, during the Thanksgiving week and the weekend, Keith Lee has helped this year's Minnie's Food Pantry Thanksgiving giveaway and helped feed over 4,200 families, which was the organization's Minnie's Food Pantry largest holiday distribution since they started it. That's again, this is why we do what we do here, right? We can talk about the bad things that are happening, but we want to also make sure that we shed light on the good things. And this right here is a good thing, especially when you see a lot of families who's been struggling lately. Not only because of the recent shutdown, but the inflation that has been going on since COVID, the inflation, and now hearing that he was able to not only exceed the numbers that the organization has done on a multitude of feeding families, and that is the Minnie's Food Pantry, but he was able to feed over 4,200 families. That's amazing. And big ups to him. Uh, Keep doing the work, brother. Keep doing the work. Don't stop because everybody has their eyes on you, and keep moving the way you move. Don't stop. And I encourage everybody to, do their part. Do their part. Giving back to the community is important. Whether it doesn't have to be financial, it can be, volunteering. It can be, being the person who is a advocate for whether it's the youth, whether it's the homeless, whether it's, the families that are in need, or just fighting the social injustice in the streets. We have to learn to do our part as a black community because if not, then we will keep getting ran over, and we can't allow that. Especially in the times that we live in now, we can't allow that to happen. So again, shout out to Keith Lee for the milestone. Um, not only that, not only that Keith Lee did the donation and um and fed those families, but he also was the volunteer. Like he rolled up his sleeves and said, "Nah, let me help do the work as well. I ain't just gonna go out here and give the paycheck and smile in the cameras and not do the work either." So the man did the work. And so, like that's what's up, man. Like um yesterday and today I was able to read the article, that I read. It's on BT as well. Um the article was brought to you by BT, so you guys can go and check that out if you guys haven't already. But it had over 800 volunteers. It was a big effort, and that's just the way how it's done, especially around the holidays. People struggle with trying to feed their families. Again, like I said, the inflation, the shutout, and everything like that. So that was a great thing to be able to read and hear. So again, kudos to you, Keith Lee. Keep doing the work, brother. All right, so let's move on a little bit. Like we talking about black excellence, right? And it's the year of the hive. It's the year of the hive, man. Shout out to Beyonce, pop singer, R&B singer, multitude star, Beyonce. Um, she won a Grammy. Not only did she won a Grammy, she she won her first album of the year, first country and American roots music field as a Grammy award winner. Again, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. Country music has always been ours. Always been ours. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. It always been ours. And seeing that, people like Beyonce, people like I don't want to say his name, I want to say Shibuki, the guy from the DMV. Guys like him, guys like Kane Brown, like those people who does country music so well and so talented. They're the reason. And she also got snubbed at the Country Music Awards, which is crazy because her song is country. So to exclude her or snub her, knowing that that her album alone and the singles that she has on that album trumps a lot of the songs that were quote unquote mainstream. This is what you get, right? And so congratulations again to Beyonce. It's the year to have the Bay have. So again, black excellence, y'all. Black excellence. Like definitely, like give it up for Beyonce, man. You might not like her, you might not be a big fan of her, but she makes statements, and you can't get mad at that. You can't get mad at that. You know what I'm saying? She has done a great job. That Cowboy Carter album was amazing. I ain't gonna lie. Uh, Musically, it was genius. It was good. It was a great album, and not to mention the tours that she went on. The whole tour, like it was every city was big, and that's what you expect with Beyonce. So appreciate y'all for reposting. You know what I'm saying, things like that. So again, shout out to Beyonce for winning that award. So yeah, man, that that right there was amazing. Like I don't know, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way that she didn't win an award in the Country Music Awards, and like you would think that in the times that we live in now, that everybody would be accepted. She got the nomination. The nominations is cool, but like who wants a participation award, right? Like who wants a participation award? Like you gotta win when you know you're a winner, and when you don't win because you know people don't think that you should win, it's a problem, and that's the problem that we live now um, in the world where people gatekeep, and so we can either make our own, or we can keep speaking out and let them know that we can all coexist in this world, not only in existence but musically, everything in all aspects. So that's just my 2 cents of it. Let me know how y'all feel about it, because I want you guys to speak out. I live so hard with the mantra, respect the crown, because we all kings and queens, right? We all kings and queens. And one thing that I do want everybody to understand and acknowledge is that nobody can take that crown off your head. And that's only if you let them. But even if you do fall, there's gonna be somebody there to pick that crown up for you, wipe it off, and put that thing back on your head. Because yeah, man, it's serious out here. We gotta be here for each other. It's important because if you're not here for each other, then again, like I said earlier, we're gonna keep getting ran over. It's a never-ending cycle. Absolutely 100. Yeah, So, um, hey man, I can go on and on about how things should be done. So, and that's just me. Like, and I had to learn it myself. I had to learn what it meant to be there 100% for yourself. I had to learn how to always look at yourself how you want to be portrayed. And I want to be portrayed as the guy who I built myself to be. And throughout the 33 years of my life, I can say that I built myself to have people to understand that I mean business. I'm not here to get walked over either. So that crown on my head stays and it doesn't go anywhere. I don't take it off. I sleep with it. I bathe with it. I walk these streets with it. So when you see me, you know that I am a king, and you are too. You know. So I just wanted to throw that out there. You know. We about to get really cracking. We got two questions. We always come up with two questions that I want everybody to chime in on in the comments and let me know how you feel about these questions. Absolutely, you have to set boundaries so people know how to treat you. Absolutely, that is important. Um, yeah, set those boundaries. You know, because people will try you. People will try you. So set those boundaries. While you setting those boundaries, let them know that you're not here to be played with. Like, who you playing with? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm me. So you don't have to like me, but you're gonna know that I'm me and I walk this earth a certain way. I live around self. And I'm not saying that I'm selfish, right? When I when I say I live around self and I hang around self, meaning that I hang around people who mirrors who I am. You know, people who is willing to also lift themselves up, build together. I'm not here for the negativity. You know, it's like that negativity is just so draining. You know, especially like I said, in the world that we live in now, nobody wants to hang around people who wants to be negative all the time. Now, that person might be going through some things, and you can always reach out, right? But people gotta want to be able to help themselves. So, um, first off, boundaries speak for themselves. You don't have to say it first. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I have no arguments for that. I have no arguments for that. Absolutely. So, first question is how does media portrayal of black masculinity affect the way black men see themselves and the way society treats them? Um, that is a very good question. Um, I don't know. Like, man, I think the media has one way of portraying how black masculinity is, but I think in reality it's completely different. Um, I think black masculinity has no one way of things. Like everybody's different, but when you talking about like the base of it all, like it does. Like, I think it does affect the way black men, you know, see themselves. But again, like I said earlier, nobody can disrupt your peace but yourself. And if you allow it, nobody can knock that crown over willingly if you let them. So, media portrayal of black masculinity, does it affect the way black men see themselves? Is the way society treat them? I think yeah, I think so. You know, because you see a lot of movies where you know the quote unquote the the black husband or boyfriend or the black man is aggressive, abusive, or deadbeat. It is, you know, and it's sad, man. It's sad. I'm not saying that's how all movies are, but the movies that I've grown up to watch, the shows that I've grown up to watch, that's what they portray. And I'm glad that we had shows like the Cosbys, Fresh Prince, Good Times, those who had those that black male figure that taught and grew their kids in a certain way, like Cliff Huxtable, great father, James Avery, James Avery, Uncle Phil, great father, and then you have the father from Good Times, great father, stern, but he was a great father. Like his kids learned a lot from him. I feel as though it is important for black men to see great representation in the media. It is important. I really do think it is important because you know I've said this before. I'm tired of seeing movies where black men are thugs and gangsters. Like I'm tired of seeing that. Like we not all thugs and gangsters. We don't all walk around in tank top and baggy clothes and a bandana on our head, trying to look for trouble. That's not all black men. It's not. And it's sad that we see that a lot. We see that a lot to this day. We see that a lot to this day. And, you know, it's sad. It's sad. You know, um, Not only that, not only even like the black gangster, it's the black man is a criminal or the black guy is a player or pimp, something like that. Like it's rare that you see a movie or a TV show where the black guy is like this, successful guy. You know what I'm saying? Like this highly successful guy with no issues and no problems and stuff like that. Not saying that it ain't no movies like that because there are. I've seen a few of them, but the media portrayal of what has been shown on a multitude aspect, this is what you get. And we need to see movies where our African American men is making a change. Movies like Remember the Titans, movies like those movies that you grew up watching. With like Denzel Washington. You know, I drew a blank. I'm sorry, y'all, but like those movies where they fought tooth and nail to be able to fight for the community and things like that. Those the kind of movies that is not really shown or portrayed to be. And I'm not talking about like the slave movies. I'm not talking about those kind of movies. I'm talking about um like the movie with Samuel Jackson as the basketball coach. And I don't remember. I can't remember the name of it, but things like that. And it kind of sucks because most of those movies are like sports movies, right? If I'm not mistaken, most of those are like sports movies. But there are some movies where you see the black male who really trying to like you know strive to be great, strive to be good. I don't always want to see my black guys struggle in movies. Why do we always got to struggle? I know hard work, pays off and stuff like that. But when you see other movies, right? When you see other movies and you see movies of like a non black guy, right? And you see this guy, in a Fortune 500 company playing golf on the top, in the penthouse of the office building, just playing golf and telling people what to do and all that, blah blah blah, right? And then it's rare that you see movies where the black guys in that setting. That's what the media portrayal is, right? But we know that, our black men are highly successful, not only, in one part, but in every part, whether it's just in all aspects, man. And I think definitely like things has to change, but um just like just like just like we've been talking about, I it is important for black men to see great representation in the media. Um and so again, I want to hear from y'all. I want to hear from y'all. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think. So again, how does the media portrayal of black masculinity affect the way black men see themselves and the way society treat them? Because I also want to put this out there. Um, it's a sad. There's a stigma, right? There's a um, picture painted for the average black male, and it's a guy who's aggressive. It's a guy who is uneducated. It's a guy who only wear, you know, baggy clothes. Don't own a suit. Ain't got nothing else. You know, that is really like the way society looks at the average black male, and it could be because of the media. I no, not could be. It is. It's definitely the media, and this is the world that we live in. So that's why, as a community, we do have to get together and really like, we really gotta like buckle down and really speak out because it's important. Just like earlier during the show, like Michael Jai White was the first non-Asian martial artist actor to win the Bruce Lee Award. I'm just saying, like, what's good, Red? Appreciate you coming in, bruh. Appreciate you, brother. What's going on? It is great to see movies and shows where black love and excellence is represented. Boom. There you go. Um, another thing, and that's another part of society and how they treat them, right? How many movies and TV shows will you see where black love was really like portrayed, and that's how the media wants the picture painted. And I ain't talking about like back in the '90s, right? I ain't talking about back in the '90s with the Cliff Huxtables and the um and the Good Times and the um the George Jefferson, the Wheezy, and we talking about the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. We ain't talking about them. We ain't talking about them. That right there was a part of an era where they really did, portray like black love in a sense, right? But then now it seems like the media really shows, I'm gonna say it, these reality shows where try to find love. And yeah, it's everybody, right? But I just feel as though the media don't portray black love like they should. It's always like a movie or a TV show where one person getting cheated on, or this one person got multiple people that they sleeping with, or this one person got like this one woman have five baby daddies, or this one guy have six kids with six different women, and that's not everybody, man. That's not everybody. That's not how everybody lives. That's not how everybody lives. That's not what black love is. It's not. And it needs to be portrayed in the media more like actual like black love and excellence. You know what I'm saying? It is important. Uh, we we do, we do, we do. Like Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, is it's a great representation of black love. Like I think like seeing their relationship and seeing their marriage. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say relationship. Their marriage, and how they talk about how they look at each other. You know, I'm not saying that's how every relationship is. That's not every marriage is, but that is somewhat of how you should want, marriage. Now I'm not sure how it is behind closed doors, right? Right, exactly, exactly. You was just talking about that, like Barack and Michelle, even Beyonce and Jay Z, in a sense, right? Like I know people might have their conspiracy with how their marriage is, but their marriage is solid, man. Like whatever they doing it, very well. They doing it very well. Uh, Even Ice Cube and his wife, like their whole story, Ice Cube and his wife, like their whole story is amazing, man. Like from from the moment how they met to looking well beyond the years now. Like the story was, and quote me if I'm wrong, like she gave up her career early, so that she could fully support Ice Cube and his production. He was starting his new production company with Cube Productions, and she gave up. I ain't gonna say give up. She put that on the back burner for now to support Ice Cube, and she did that sacrifice and supported him up until this day. Like that right there is where it's at. Like stuff like that is what people really don't talk about. And Ice Cube had, did come out and he spoke about that, but it's not really talked about a lot. And you want to know why? It's because the media portrays something completely opposite. Um, yes, Rodney and Holly Robinson Pete, Grant Antonia Hill, DeVille and Kadane Ellis. Yeah, all amazing examples. Definitely, I agree. Um, but again, like I said, like as far as like the media portrayals with the TV shows and the movies, and I get there's just movies and there's just TV shows, but at the end of the day, if people gonna keep watching it, that's what the stigma is gonna come from. People gonna think that, oh, this is how things are with black couples versus this couple, and when that happens, you get a clash of the conversations that aren't healthy. You get those unhealthy conversations, and we got to try to take away those unhealthy conversations and really speak on what's true, what's the fact, right? And so, um, that's just what I wanted to like really key in on before we moved on with the next question. And so, with that being said, what are the biggest barriers to building generational wealth for the black communities? So, what I'm asking for people who probably ask, what do you mean by that? Like, uh, what are the biggest obstacles to building generational wealth for the black community, and how can communities work together to overcome them, right? And I'm going to throw this out there, right? And let me know if you guys have seen this movie before. Give me 1 second. So there was a movie on Netflix. There was a movie on Netflix, right? And it was called Black and Privileged, the Volume One. It's called Black and Privileged Volume One. And what it was it about? It was about a black community that was like right outside. It's right outside of Chicago, and the political conflicts that arise when low income families move into a previously affluent area. Um, this it was like a short. It's like a short film, and it really focuses on the political tensions between the longtime residents and the new low-income families moving into a thriving black community in Chicago. So pretty much what happened was, like I said, this was an affluent black community, right? Everything was black owned. The black coffee shops, the black bakeries, the black banks, the black schools, everything. Everything was strictly owned and ran by the black community, right? And like I said, this was like right outside of Chicago. And so there was a low income family that moved in, and the mayor of that town, who was a black guy, the mayor of that town, immediately like kind of like profiled them a little bit. Like, why are you here? Why are you here? What made you come in? I gotta read you a little bit. I gotta see what's going on. Like, why are you here? And the wife and their friends. When people are of the, I'm not gonna say uppity, but people are of the more fortunate, right? And I'm talking about like the black people. Um, you know, they were immediately also judgmental as well. So they actually got to know the person, and come to find out, outside of that town, there was a Fortune 500 guy who was not black, right? He was trying to purchase some type of property in that community, and they pushed back on it so well. Long story short, that film is nowhere to be found. It's nowhere to be found, right? And this is what I talk about, where the media portrayal is when you got things like that and now you can't find it anywhere. It's called Black and Privilege. Y'all can Google it. You might find something. It was on Netflix. All right. And when I bring it up, when I brought it up to a lot of people, people's like, "No, I've never seen that. I've never heard of it." But it was a thing. It was a thing. It was a short film, and you can no longer find things like that. So going back to the question I had, what are the biggest barriers, right? Said, I feel as though the biggest barriers to building generational wealth is lack of financial literacy. Let's talk about that, right? Let's dive into that. Great answer, right? So hold on, gotta go back to my notes. So yeah, we about to get done because we got what? Got 10 more minutes, but okay. So let me start off with this. Financial literacy. They don't teach that enough in schools. They don't teach financial literacy in school. But it's crazy because when I was in high school, that was the thing. They they made sure to let us know we had to take that class. I'm not sure if everybody else had something like that. It was like I forgot what it was called, but it was pretty much a class that each senior had to take in order to graduate. You had to take this class in order to graduate. If you fail, then you won't graduate. It's a part of the rubric that we had in as a senior in when I was in high school. So and they taught us about signing up for credit cards, what to look for, the credit, what the credit means, um, how to invest, what to invest in, 401k, everything that involves financial and being financially literate. They taught us those things. And I don't know if they have that stuff now in school. And I feel like they don't. I feel like they don't. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure how it is in other states where y'all probably at. But for me, we had it when I was in high school, and that was a good 20 years ago, right? Hold up, wait a minute. Okay, not 20 years ago, 15 years ago. Okay, 15 years ago, and we didn't have, we had that, and I don't see a lot of it in today's age of schools and stuff like that. You know, that's why we need we need to have there needs to be a thing in school where they are teaching financial literacy, because when you go out into this world, nobody's going to teach you that. It's something that you got to self learn. And if you try to self learn while you're already out there in the world, there might be times where you might fall flat on your face and you got to pick yourself back up. And that's fine, right? You're learning. But I'd rather people get taught that, because there's a lot of people who don't know a lot of things as far as financing, and they get put in a bind, and now they got to rebuild this, they got to rebuild that, they got to figure this out and figure that out. And when you learn about financial literacy in the beginning, it actually helps you look at things differently once come, you know reach that status where you're ready to actually do things in life. um like there's systemic and historical barriers, right? One of them being housing discrimination. All right, this one of them being housing discrimination. And I see the comment here that I'm about to actually she said it is important to build out knowledge and share with others. Absolutely. That's another thing, and we're going to touch on that in a second. I do want to get to this one part that I'm about to dive deep into. Um, owning land, purchasing stocks, having passive and active income. That's another key point that we're going to touch back on in a second. We need to bring back Black Wall Street, where we have our own business and create wealth for ourselves in those realms. Okay, boom. Stay right there.
Sorry, I don't understand.
My bad. That's my bad. Sorry, but that's our. I ain't gonna say the name again because you're gonna start talking again. But anyway, um, systemic and historical barriers, right? One of them being housing discrimination, right? Where there are racial practices, redlining denied black families access to mortgages and credit. That is actually a thing, right? Is It's a primary way to build wealth through home ownership. And the historical exclusion continues to manifest, right, in lower home ownership rates and lower property values in black neighborhoods, noting the NCRC, right? And the NCRC being the National Community Reinvestment Coalition. All right, and they speak about, if you can go on that website, right, and they speak about the racial wealth divide in black home ownership. And there's a new data to show how small gains that shows small gains in deep fragility. So I will it's called the NCRC. You can go on ncrc.org, or you can Google it, NCRC, and talk about the racial wealth divide. It's a great article that you guys, should definitely read. It really breaks down the part when I'm talking about where the systemic and historical barriers as far as building generational wealth. Another one is like we just touched on is the educational disparities. They don't teach financial literacy as much as they should. I think it's definitely important to get these kids acclimated with the financial world. You know, they're so focused on helping them get ready for adulthood as a whole. That is true, right? Get ready for adulthood because it's coming and it's going to come hard. But also, you really need to teach the foundation of financial literacy because it's very important. That is a very key point for when you're about to graduate high school because nobody's going to teach you that after high school. That's something that you have to learn yourself, or unless you find somebody that is willing to give that same information that it isn't going to gatekeep from you as well. So, educational disparities. Another thing was employment and wage gaps. Even to this day, even to this day, there is a gap in wage, in salary wage, employment wage between races. It is. It definitely is, and we can't act like that is not there because it is there. Right? Exactly. Don't gatekeep vital information, and I think mm, I'm not gonna get into that because I only got a little bit of time left, and I don't want to keep you guys for a long time. All right. So, um, another thing was predatory financial practices, right? And what that means is like black communities have been historically targeted ex- for like financial services, exploitative financial services, leading to like a deep suspicion of like financial institutions and limited engagement with them, per Howard University. Um, so what that means is there isn't enough like black-owned banks, right? And you might ask, why aren't there a lot of black-owned banks, right? There are there. We gotta find them though. There is this one online bank. I forgot the name of it. I know one of them is Greenwood. Greenwood is another one. There's another one that has a that is an online banking black-owned bank. And when you sign up with them, they send you a card. You could choose the design of the card, and it's very Afrocentric. They have different like good Afrocentric designs and things. Like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Once I get the name of it, I will post it on social media for you guys to see for yourself. Um, but sorry about that, y'all. Uh, on another side of it, right, as far as like the financial literacy part of it, or like the barriers, is like just just like in the black community, it's like the lasting effects of historical and ongoing systemic discrimination in areas like housing, education, and employment. Those three things uh, one of the is those three things are like the biggest barriers and obstacles as far as trying to build that generational wealth because one, we are limited to it, and two, we limit ourselves as a community. Um, so intergenerational effects, like the lack of intergenerational wealth transfer, um, like sometimes, sometimes like it's hard to try to get, or have that. Trying to figure out the right way to say it. So there aren't a lot of instances where things are passed down from generation to generation, right? Like it usually stops at a generation. Like let's say three generations down, land was passed down, right? And then you get to one generation, instead of passing it down, they try to build it up and sell it to the higher bidder, right? And that was another one. That's another like barrier. But I think like overall though, I think overall it's one, like the barrier, like I said, is the lack of access to home ownership. Two, um I'm gonna say it, like African Americans are more than likely to be underbanked. And by that I mean it's like, for instance, you walk in the bank, you want to open up an account, right? The banks, some banks won't sit down. Like some banks, like real known banks, like those people don't sit down and tell you, oh well, you can do this and you can do that if you do this and you do that, and you can save money and you can also build. You can build this like that. They won't tell you that, right? That's something that you just got to learn yourself, or they're gonna wait until you fall. They'll be like, oh well, you should have done this, and now you got to rebuild everything. Versus somebody else that's not of the African American race, they will sit down and lay out everything for them, give them all the avenues. Because that's, sadly, that's just how it is. And it's not just me saying this. You can actually look this up. Go ahead, look up. If Black Americans are more likely to be underbanked. It's true, and it's out there. And again, this is why there are more Black-owned banks that are starting to pop up. And as African Americans, sometimes we can't always be skeptical. We can't always be skeptical. Sometimes we just gotta support in a way. Sometimes we just gotta support because we keep being skeptical and everything. We're gonna miss out on opportunities. I just want to throw that out there. Um, yeah, man. Like that's pretty much this. Like as far as like the biggest barriers. So it's just like the lack of access to financial literacy, the lack of access to home ownership, um, and the employment gap. Like I really believe those are the three big gaps when you're talking about the financial barriers and things like that. With the ongoing systemic discrimination in areas like housing, education, and employment. So, um, look, man. So I do have a good friend. I do have a good friend who does very good well as far as financial literacy, and we're going to try to get him on here one episode. His name is Todd Allen, y'all, and we had him on a few episodes of the BKE podcast a couple of years ago. He really did dive deep. He was talking about forex. He was talking about trading, and it's crazy because at the time, forex and trading wasn't really a big thing at the time, like 2 or 3 years ago. Like it was like starting to like sort of like make its wave. Like now, forex trading is a big thing now. It's a big thing. Like everybody's talking about it. Like we even getting bots on social media saying, "Hey, you want to do forex trading and things like that." It's becoming a big thing now. But like 2 3 years ago, when I actually met Todd, he came to me and was like, hey man, you need to learn about forex trading and things like that. Like you could buy stocks, but forex trading is definitely where it's at. And I didn't really believe him, but now I'm starting to see it, and like people's actually making a lucrative um asset in forex trading. You gotta find the right person though. You gotta find the right person that's gonna guide you. Again, like we said, not gatekeeping vital information. So it's our time today, for folks. Man, I do appreciate everybody who tuned in and just listened, even if you couldn't comment. I appreciate you guys coming in and listening in and giving y'all thoughts. If you guys haven't been able to have a chance to comment, always remember you can always rewatch this. You can comment on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitter. You can comment on that. Okay, you can comment on these conversations and let me know how you feel. If you rather just listen, this podcast will be airing also on all major streaming platforms in the next 24 hours. Okay. It will be distributed out to all the major streaming podcast platforms, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcasts, um, Spotify, Pandora, etc., etc. So it will be available for your ears as well. And there will be a section on Spotify where you're able to comment and give us your thoughts. Also on Apple Podcasts as well. So again, always remember that the BKE podcast, man, is a podcast about everything. Um, we go live on 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday. Every Saturday. This is our second episode of the new season. We appreciate y'all. We want y'all to keep helping us grow, as a black community. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and subscribe on YouTube, like and share. You can follow us at the BK Podcast everywhere. And always remember to respect the crown. Okay, respect the crown always. It's not just a saying; it's a way of life. All right. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out. I appreciate y'all. Next Saturday we got a good one for you, and hopefully we got our co-host here with me as well. Y'all have a good night.